everybody, it's Holly and welcome back to my channel, Smile by Holly. Thanks for joining me. Today I've got a really unique project and what it's called is a roll-up treat box. And it's a little bit more involved than some of the projects I do, but it is so well worth the time that you put into this. And let me just show you. This has a cute big belly band around it that slides off. Okay, the belly band slides off, and the top of this is actually Velcroed. But then when you open it up, it has 4 little boxes with pull tabs that just open up to house little tiny treats. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So isn't that cute? You know, what little trinkets could you put in here? Just so many fun things that would work in these little boxes. So anyway, those all fold up. They fold in. Now, I saw this idea on Sam Calcutt's. She's from the UK, her channel. And I was just so taken by it. I'm like, I really need to try that. So I will link her channel below. But watch how this box just folds together. It holds to the top with Velcro. And then you just slide the belly band down on top. Let's get this going here. Boom, boom. And that just holds it so nicely together. Isn't that a fun and different project? So I've changed the measurements slightly just to kind of work for me a little bit better. Like the belly band is a tiny bit smaller and some of the measurements are just slightly changed. But let's go ahead and just jump right in and get started on this adorable little roll-up treat box. Okay, now a couple things is you could use some double-sided paper and then you wouldn't need to cover the entire thing, because let me tell you, you are going to need 20 pieces of paper to cover those little boxes. So by using, you know, double-sided paper, you could eliminate the need to do all of the matting. And to me, that's really attractive, but I just wanted to show you and give you the sizes. So I thought, hey, we'll just make another, you know, plain colored box, and then at the same time I can give you the matting measurements. But just know that's an option if you didn't want to have to do all of the matting, which takes a little bit of time. But once again, I think it's so well worth it. So to get started, you are going to need 4 pieces of paper that measure 11 1/4 by 8 5/8. 4 pieces. That is what is going to make these 4 little boxes. Alrighty? So get your 4 pieces and cut them down, and then let's bring them into our scoreboard. And on the long side, which is the 11 1/4 inch side, you want to score at 2 1/8, at 4 1/4, at 6 3/8, at 8 1/2, and at 10 5/8. Now go ahead and turn your paper to the shorter side, which is the 8 5/8 inch side, and you will score it at 2 1/8 and at 6 1/2. So let's just do that one more time together. On the long side, you want to score at 2 1/8, at 4 1/4, at 6 3/8, at 8 1/2, and at 10 5/8. Turn it to the shorter side, and you want to score at 2 1/8 and at 6 1/2. Okay, now I have already gone ahead and scored my other 2, so if you need to, put the video on pause and get all of your paper scored and then bring them in. Now, one thing that I like to do, and I hope that it's helpful to you guys, is I like to make a template so that as you guys are cutting with me, you can see kind of what we're going after. So I hope that that helps by actually seeing something that looks like this. So I'm just going to set that aside and we will do our cutting together. So let's start out with the bottom right here. We are going to cut out these 2 squares. Okay, now you want to just go nice and slow and make sure you're cutting exactly on those score lines, because this is what will help your box just fold real nice if you're super, super exact. So there's our first square. Here is our second square. Okay, so going nice and slow, you can see we've got our 2 little squares cut out here. Okay, now let's go ahead and flip it all the way around, and let's do this side. So what we're going to do first is we're going to cut out these 2 rectangles that were right here, okay? Just cutting out those rectangles. How are you guys doing today? Anything new in your life? We are just doing a big move. We've been in our house for like 15 years, and we were just renting, but the landlord decided that she wanted to sell. Go figure with the market, right? And so we are in the process of moving, and can I tell you, it's a little bit stressful. Okay, it's a lot of bit stressful, to be honest. So it will be nice when we can finally get in and get settled, and you know how all that goes. Okay, so I'm talking a lot. So now what we're going to do is we're going to cut up all of our slits. So I'm just going to cut up this slit, cut up this slit. Make sure you're taking your time to cut right on that line so your box folds nice, okay? Flip it around. We're going to cut up this slit, cut up this slit, and cut up this slit. Okay, so all of our slits are cut. Now on this is a tab that's right here. So the boxes that are next to the tab, we are going to cut, just eyeball it, about half of it off. Okay, we're just removing some of that bulk. Not measuring, just cutting about half of that off, and that's what it's looking like. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to do a big miter. Now, we're going to come back and we're going to do tiny miters, but for this first one, we're going to do a pretty heavy miter. So I'm just going from about here to the corner. It kind of makes it look like, oh, I don't know, maybe like a paper airplane. So I'm just doing a heavy miter. Try to get them, you know, pretty close to exact. So can you see that's how they're both looking the same? Now we're going to go ahead and miter 2 of our other boxes on both sides. We're going to leave this big one completely square because that is going to make our project just look nice and square. If you can see, this end box you want to be just perfectly square. But for these 2 up here, we are going to do our miter, or as some people call a little haircut. I'm just taking little tiny bit of triangle off of there, off this one, off this one, and off this one. Okay, once again, we're going to leave this one completely square. So let's go ahead and do that to the other side. So don't do this one. We're going to miter this one. It just makes for a really nice finish if you leave this box completely square. That one, we're going to do that one, and then we're going to do that one. So do you see those just little teeny tiny pieces? That's all we're taking out, but it helps the box fold just much, much, much easier. Okay, so I have actually got all my boxes already cut. So if you need to, put the video on pause, get your boxes ready, and then come back and we will assemble them. All right, so now that you have all of your boxes cut, let's go ahead and fold and burnish really good. Just get those score lines nice and crisp. I think this also makes a difference to help, you know, your box fold really well. So a bone folder works great. I've done it without, but it does, I think it helps. Okay, I'm just folding and burnishing on all those lines. And then we'll actually assemble 2 of the boxes together just to make sure you have kind of the right way. So we'll open up all of our flaps. Now once again, these two flaps were the ones that we left square. And so those are the ones that we want on the outside of our box right here. Okay, so what we're going to do, flip your little squares in. Now the easiest way to make this box is to do it on both sides at the same time. Okay, it makes the box just a little bit easier to assemble. So I'm going to put glue right on the edge of this tab. Now flip your tabs in and the glue is going to go on the top. So my tabs are flipped in. And I'm actually going to go ahead and put glue on these two at the same time. Okay, so once again, this is the one that's square. We're going to keep that on the outside. So fold your box up and just make sure that you're keeping this, you know, a nice good square. So let's do it over on this side. Fold it up and just line it up to that square right there. Nice and even. Now we'll take our other two tabs, bring them on the inside, and line that up. I'm going to get this little flip out of the way. Line that up. See how that makes just a really nice looking square on the outside. And that's because we didn't miter that one little square. So let's do this one. I'm trying to work fast before my glue gets too dry. I'm going to bend that back so you can kind of see what we're going after. And there is our nice little box. Has such a nice little square on that side. Okay, so what's going to happen is this is going to be our flip tab that we glue the other box to, okay? But see this right here, these sides are going to fold in, and that makes just the cutest little trinket box. Now, when we get done and we're done covering it, we're actually going to put a pull tab onto these because it's a little bit hard to get it open. So we are going to add, let me show you, this little pull tab right here, which makes it really easy to open and close the box. But we will do that at the end, so just know it's a little bit hard if you don't have that, okay? So there's our first box. Why don't we go ahead, let's assemble one more box together just to make sure you have the concept. So we're going to bring in our base and just go ahead, get everything folded and burnished really good. Okay, so open it up. Here are our two squares. So we're going to put glue on these two flaps that we did the mitering on. Okay, just on the inside, fold them so they're going inward and get glue on the outside of that tab. Don't you think making boxes is fun? You know, so many different sizes. I love it. I just love it. I think it makes gifting, you know, fun little trinkets or treasures such a fun way to do it. Okay, so we're going to keep this square on the outside and fold our box up and in. Make sure you're keeping that nice and square. I'll flip it and do this side. Yeah, it's so much easier if you do both sides at the same time. Now let's go ahead and flip. I'm going to move that out of the way. Flip these little pieces on the inside. Line it up good. I hope you can see that. These flaps are kind of getting in the way. Okay, I'm lining it up, making sure it's nice and square. I think I'm going to fold and burnish that a little bit. Okay. Okay, so there is our little box. These little tabs will push in. Actually, I need to... These little tabs will push in, and there is the closure of our box. Great, right? So go ahead, finish all of your boxes, and then I will show you how we are going to put them together. So you have all of your boxes done. Now, let's keep this flip tab over here to the left of us, okay? And what we're going to do, you want to make sure that your boxes Let me get in there. You want to make sure that your boxes are opening up this way. Okay, so there's our boxes. Make sure they're opening up going this way. I'm going to fold them for now, but you want to make sure everything's lined up correctly so that the mechanism works. Okay, so there we are. What we're going to do is we're going to sit this one on top of this one. Okay, I'm going to add glue right here. Once again, make sure your tabs are opening up this way, but we're going to just sit this guy on top of it and, you know, kind of watch to make sure that you're lining it up because this needs to make a full square at the end. So as you're doing it, make sure everything's folding in nicely, okay? So I like to actually fold the box. Oops, that's flipping open. I like to actually fold the box and make sure that, yes, it is nice and square. Okay, so we've got 2 of them, and that is what it looks like. Oops, I need a little bit of glue in there. I don't want my box to come apart. Okay, so now once again we have our flip tab. Okay, we're going to bring in our 3rd box, and just like we did before, we're going to sit this one just on top of that tab, making sure that it's opening this way. Okay, I hope I'm not going too slow. I just would hate for you to do all this work and then not have your box fold up correctly. So we're going to add glue to the outside of this little tab. And then this just is going to sit right on top of it. Once again, fold your box and make sure that everything is lining up. I think this is key to making it make the square at the end. You see how I'm folding it just like that as I go. Might just push it this way and push it down a little bit. Okay, so we have our 3 boxes. See how it's working out? So cute. Let's bring in our last one. And once again, make sure that tab's flipping out. And we'll add glue onto this little guy. And we're just going to bring our last box in and sit it right on top. And go ahead and fold your box in and make sure that, yes, it is square. Kind of push down on all that. Oh my gosh, that is so cute. So cute, so cute. So there is what we have. And once again, we're going to put little pull-out tabs so these tabs all open up. But that's our box mechanism. Now we do need to add one more piece of paper. And this piece of paper is 4 3/8 by 4 1/4. And this is going to make our last tab. So 4 3/8 by 4 1/8. I'm sorry, 4 3/8 by 4 1/4. And then on the 4 1/4 inch side, you want to score it at 2 1/8, which is basically just in half. So you could just fold it in half if you wanted. So there we go. And that was scoring on the 4 1/4 inch side. So we've got that just in half. I think I'll give it a good burnish. And what we're going to do is take this piece and just hook it on to the very end. So it just mimics this one over here. Okay, so I'm going to add glue on to the edge. If you get confused, just look over to this side and it will help you. So we've got that. We're just going to line this up right on the edge. And this is going to make our closure, our 2 flaps for our closure. Okay. I'm just going to push that down and then let me show you. So this folds up and then that makes our cute little handle. Isn't that just so much fun? I'm freaking excited because I think this is so adorable. So before we go any further, let's go ahead and cover our boxes. Now, once again, this is a little time consuming. Had you have used double-sided paper, you wouldn't need to do this, but I kind of like the matting right now. So you're actually going to need 20 pieces of paper, and I've got 10 of one little flavor and 10 of the other. And these little pieces are going to measure 4 1/8 by 1 7/8. Once again, 20 pieces of these, okay? You can do them all the same. Once again, I've decided to do a variety of 2 different ones. Look, I feel like I'm playing cards. Pick a card, any card. Anyway, another thing to remember is don't get too thick of paper for this because it will kind of impede the folding of your box if it's too thick. So just kind of think thin paper when you're doing this. You're also going to need 8 pieces that are going to cover the little squares on the outer side, okay? So you'll need 8 pieces that are going to measure 1 7/8 by 1 7/8. So it's actually square, okay? 8 pieces of those. So I'm going to start, I'll put some music on. I'm just going to go ahead and get these covered. We'll come back and then go from there. Okay, so there you go. What do you think? Isn't that just so stinking cute? And it rolls up and it folds together. I am just so in love with this. Now, let's go ahead and make our pull tabs. And I have found that if you take, let me grab it, just a piece of paper that is maybe 3/4 by 3/4 or 1 inch by inch. It doesn't, whatever works, just a piece of scrap. And fold it in half. This is going to make our tab. So you've got your little pull tab, and I am just going to lift up my flap. It's kind of hard to get in without the pull tab. I'm going to add a little daisy on there just for cuteness. I'm going to add a little daisy on there, and then I'm just going to put glue on the inside of one of my sides and hook it onto this front piece. There is our little tab that we can pull, and it makes it just so much easier to get inside your cute little box. The box is too cute not to be able to get inside, right? Okay, I've gone ahead and I've made all my tabs, and I'm just going to open that up. Once again, it's a little bit hard to get in without the tab. Okay, open that up. Put glue on the middle, trying to eyeball it and line it up. Just letting that dry. Oh yeah, that works really good. Okay, so fold your little box together. And this is where we're going to add some Velcro to keep it shut. Now, because it's so large, I have found that 2 Velcro actually work a little bit better. So, and I just get my Velcro at the Dollar Tree. It works totally fine for me. So I'm going to hook the 2 together and then open up my flaps and just kind of put one on that side and one over about right there. Oh, it's really sticky. Okay, now I'm going to push these together. Make sure you're lining them up. I'm always careful with the first time I open it. Just kind of push that down. Oh yeah, that worked out really good. Okay, so far there is our darling little roll-up treat box. Now we're going to make the belly band, and oh my goodness, I think this just really makes it. And what you'll want is 2 pieces of paper. Okay, the first piece of paper is going to be 12 by 4 1/4. Okay, your second piece of paper is going to be 6 7/8 by 4 1/4. Now, take your big piece, take this big piece, and what we're going to do is on the long side, we're just going to score at 1/2 inch. This is just going to make a tab for us, okay? So I'm really just using it for lining up purposes. So I'm going to go ahead and put glue on that tab. Then I'm going to take my shorter piece and just line it up. Okay, it's just basically that was just for helping me to overlap it. Okay, I'm going to make sure that's good and glued down before we start wrapping it around. Now, there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can figure out measurements as to where you want to score this. But I have found that just by kind of putting it on and wrapping it around and just kind of making those creases yourself, okay? Actually, I'm going to just kind of making those creases yourself. Because if you have really thick paper, this could change where your score lines are just by a little bit. So this works just great for me. I'm just kind of wrapping it around and then creasing it with my fingers to kind of make where I want it to fold. Now, you don't necessarily need this very tight. You want it to be able to slide on and off. So actually a little bit loose is probably, recommended. Now I am going to just slightly do really nice, easy, just scores with my fingers. Just nice and simple, nothing too crisp. And then once I have it on my box, I will go ahead and glue that overlapping. Once again, don't do it so tight that you can't get it off. That's kind of key to this. So just overlap it, a little bit loose. Look at that paper. Oh my goodness, so cute. Now because that's the back, I'm going to flip that around and have this be my front. And I had so much fun just playing around. Look at this embellishment that I made. Once again, it's from the digital kit from Knitwits called Sympathy. And I just popped up some flowers. Oh my goodness, that is so cute, and put a thinking of you. And we're just going to add this onto the front. And I'm just going to add a few little, just pop-up jewels. This is my favorite part, like the little additions, I think, really just take it over the top. Oh my goodness, that's so cute, yeah. And then, of course, we are going to add our bow. Isn't that just so cute? So I wanted this to be on this paper, and it ended up that my front is on this paper. So I'm just going to cut a little square down. I think it will help my bow to pop. Does that make sense? So we'll just do like a double liner, and then, oh yeah, that will definitely help my bow to pop. So we're going to do a double layer on here. And then I'll put my bow. Yeah, that really helps the bow. Okay. And then I think I'll add one of those cute jewels onto my bow. Tie it all together. Oh my goodness. So what do you think? Didn't that turn out adorable? And then this belly band, once again, it's loose, so it just pulls right off. These open up. And once again, you've got that cute, little pole right there that helps to open up your boxes. Oh, I just think anybody would just die to have this cute little roll-up treat box. So stinking fun. And then this belly box, the thing should just slide right down over the top. Once again, because we made it loose, it slides down nice and easy. Let me go ahead and bring my other one in. I can't wait to fill these up with some special treats. Oh, I think it's going to be just fun to give a special friend. Okay, put my belly band down on it. And there are my two darling roll-up treat boxes. So what do you guys think? Was this easy? Was it difficult? I hope that I go slow enough for you and yet not too slow. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, what a fun and darling project. Look for the links below. And like I say, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. I hope you have a fun crafting day. You know, if you like the video, give me a big thumbs up. I would also love to have you subscribe to my channel. So until the next video, I will see you guys later. Bye, everybody.